President Senator Nelson, if your amendment were to pass, would it be lawful for researchers to conduct somatic cell nuclear transfer in their laboratories using state or federal funds?
Senator, might I answer that? Because just as a point of clarification, this is language that that was from my original bill, and maybe it would be helpful.
Senator Fishback.
And I understand that Senator Latz's question was whether scnt would be lawful, and what we are looking at, the accompanying language that this would follow behind as part of the bill bans human cloning. That is what we are. Excuse me. In this portion, we look at the funding for human cloning. So there's no state and federal funds for human cloning. This is what we would be looking at: human cloning. If you are creating a human clone.
Senator Latz.
Madam President, I don't think the question was answered, Madam President. It had a very specific question because science is very specific and relies upon descriptions of the scientific techniques. I'm reading this amendment a bit on the fly, and as I am looking at it to respond to Senator Fishbach's comment, it looks like it's kind of a combination of some language that was in another bill. For one thing, it says that nothing in the section shall affect areas of scientific research not specifically addressed in subdivision 1, which suggests that research that is addressed in subdivision 1 is still affected by the underlying bill. Secondly, it does have a provision there. The last sentence, in addition, nothing in this section shall affect the scientific field of stem cell research unless explicitly prohibited. But the previous provision in the underlying bill here does explicitly prohibit portions of the scientific field of stem cell research. Moreover, line 1.6 says that this section shall not affect research in the use of nuclear transfer. And frankly, that's a bit ambiguous. I'm not sure what research in the use of nuclear transfer means. The earlier provision in the bill specifically bans certain kinds of nuclear transfer. So what is research in the use of nuclear transfer? Well, they can read about it in a journal, but they can't do it in a lab. I'm a little confused. I think that's pretty ambiguous language. It does not say they're specifically authorized to use the scientific techniques of somatic cell nuclear transfer or other cloning techniques. It just says they can't research the use of it. I'm still not sure what that means. Frankly, this is pretty ambiguously drafted, and I would urge the members to object to this amendment for those reasons, if for no other reason at this point. I think perhaps what we ought to have is a larger discussion. I guess I'm still waiting for my question to be answered, whether with this amendment, researchers at Mayo or at the University of Minnesota or at any of the 600 biotechnology businesses in Minnesota that make up Bioscience Alley or Life Science Alley in the BioBusiness Alliance, whether any of them would still be able to utilize state funds or federal funds that pass through a state agency to support human cloning or any expenses incidental to human cloning, including somatic cell nuclear transfer, and all that goes around that kind of scientific research. And I think without an unambiguous